you guys want me to talk about? So I can talk about the next Psy-Changeling book, right? Those who can read the. So next Psy-Changeling book is Tangle of Need. That is the official title that we came to after 10,000 million titles. I kept sending them to my editor, and she would say, "Oh yeah, this one's alright," and then it would go to like the big meeting where they do the title meeting, and it would be like, "No, we hate it. Next." So Tangle of Need finally passed, and I really like it. I think it's quite descriptive of the story, and it features Riaz, who is one of Hawk's lieutenants, and Adria, who is mentioned in Play of Passion, and she is technically Indigo's aunt, but she's only a few years older than Indigo, so they're more like sisters. And Adria was with someone in that book. It was a very bad relationship, and she is out of that, and so that's the setup of this book. And Riaz, if you know from Play of Passion, he found someone who was meant to be his mate, but she's married. So as you can see, it's already Tangle of Need. So that is the basic setup for the main characters. But this book is also going to have a very strong Hawk and Sienna subplot, because there's a lot of stuff. Like, you got to the end of their book and they're together, but you never really saw them together as a couple after the mating. So you're going to see that, and you're going to have a lot of Arrow stuff in there. So this book is really packed, and I'm editing my third draft right now, and I keep deleting scenes because I'm like, oh my god, this book is like got too much stuff in it. But I will find a way to put everything I want in there. But yeah, no, I think it'll be an interesting book. It'll be a book that does tells you a lot about. There's a lot of movement in the book in terms of the overall storyline, and you're really going to see things building. Yeah, can't give away too much. Buy the book next year. But yeah. Yes?
So I've got a question. Just because you said that you've got a lot of things that you want to put in a book, would there be an instance where you would have to write a book of the same character, like in the Guild Hunter book?
I think it's unlikely, just because the series is structured slightly differently. And what you can do in the Psy-Changeling series is have characters grow and develop through a number of books. So the most clear example is Lucas and Sasha. So they got together in book one, and then you've seen them develop through each book, and their relationship develop, and then happy event that happened in the previous book. So I think that's more likely to happen in the Psy-Changeling series. But as I said, with Hawk and Sienna, you are going to see a lot of them in this book. They're kind of hijacking it. Yeah, I sort of sent my editor this email going, there's a lot of Hawk and Sienna in this book. Do you think anyone would mind? So she's like, no, are you kidding? So I got the green light for that. So yeah, I think you're going to see more that kind of thing, where you're going to see a previous couple have a strong presence in a later book. Yeah. The thing is, I don't like to. I think the problem with having multiple books about a character in a paranormal romance series as opposed to something that's more urban fantasy. So I think the Guild Hunter series slightly goes into urban fantasy. Is that you don't want to ruin the happy ever after when you do another book or a continuation. And I think with the Guild Hunter series, because of the change in Elena's life, it was quite a natural segue into a next book. You weren't ruining the happy ever after. It was just like the next part of the happy ever after kind of thing. Yeah, and I think with a paranormal romance, you don't. I hate those books where they get together and then the next book they're like fighting because they have to have conflict for the next book. Yes, I don't want to do that. Right. Anything else you guys want me to chat about? Yeah.
Do you have a plan for when we're going to find out who the ghost is?
Who the ghost is?
Yes. It's been bugging me.
You know what? Whenever I do this talk and someone asks me about that ghost, I'm so scared that I'm just going to spill it. Because it's like just there at the tip of my tongue. Yeah, you'll find out very soon. And someone else asked me if I always knew who the ghost was, or if I've changed my mind through it, and then no, I haven't changed my mind. It's always been the same person, and I had to know who it was the entire time because there are overlapping events in some of the books, and when you go back, once you know the identity of this person, the logic of it will hold. They aren't going to be in two places at once. Can you see me trying not to say that? So, yeah, you will find out very soon. Yeah, everyone's got their theories. There's a website called dearauthor.com, and Jane is a really big fan of the series, and she did a post called her theory of who the ghost is, and she's got all the parts of the books written down, and there's footnotes and things, and it's so if you want, you can just go and Google that, and it's good fun. You know, I won't say if she's right or not, or you know, but you know, it's interesting.
Will she get a prize if she is right?
We shall see. Yeah. She was trying to. I actually met her in. I was in New York and I met her, and she was trying to sort of sneak it out of me, and then I was like, "Do you really want to know?" And she's like, "No." So you know, you don't really want to know. Totally ruined the surprise. So, yeah. Okay. Anything else? Yes.
Have you met any of those guys on those covers? Do you get to see them before they put them on? You don't get to have a panel and say, yep, no, yep, nothing? No selection process?
No, not...
Boring.
My US editor, because she's the editor I work with, will ask me about the US covers sometimes, and what I might like for them and what people look like and things. But in general, I don't really get that much input into covers. But you know, I really like all these covers. I think they've done a really good job. And I was just saying before that I like the way that the spines look all next to each other because they're all like multicolored. It's really pretty. Yeah. Covers are interesting because if you go on my website and you go on the international tab, you can see all the international covers like Japan and Hungary and Germany and stuff, and they're all so different. They're all so different, and it's interesting what works in one market just doesn't work in another. And like, because in the US covers you tend to have more of the abs, you know, and you know it's much more sort of understated. So it's interesting, yeah. What do you guys like better? These ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have the US ones, so that one's not going to mention.
Oh, cover OCD. It's funny. People are quite like decided about which covers they prefer, and I actually have some people who are international readers who buy these because they just want these covers. They say it's much less embarrassing